Alright, everybody, welcome back to the Arena Football Nation channel. I hope you're doing well. And in today's video, we got a recap of Week 6 action in the National Arena League. We got 4 games to go over, so let's get right into it. Alright, first up, we have the Carolina Cobras traveling to the Idaho Horsemen in a cross-divisional matchup. Idaho coming off that win in their home opener, and Carolina coming off that loss to the Wheeling Miners. So both teams looking to, continue some home field advantage, and the Carolina looking to bounce back from that loss. And it turned out to be a very good game overall. Solid matchup. Idaho going back and forth with Carolina, but in the end, Idaho just pulling away and securing the victory over the Carolina Cobras with a final score of 34-21. Much better stream overall from my experience with it. I did tune in and check it out. I was able to hear the announcer as well, so that was nice. But overall, the quality in the field was just fantastic for Idaho. They're really coming within their own and starting to show a lot of fight and show that they're a team to not take lightly. They're improving and they want to compete for one of those playoff spots. So big win for the Idaho Horsemen, and man, I tell you, that home field advantage, it is real. So good for them. Carolina spiraling now with a second loss in a row. They're definitely looking to bounce back. Long travel going all the way to Idaho, so I'm sure there's multiple things taken into consideration for this loss, but I'm sure they're looking to bounce back from this because that's not good. 2 losses in a row for the Carolina Cobras. I know they're really looking to turn it around and not spiral out of control at this point. Next up, we have the Rougarou and the Spartans. Both teams hosting non-league opponents. First up, Rougarou was taking on the Louisville Savage. And what more is there to say? Usually these games go pretty much one way most of the time. And no doubt here, as the Rougarou end up sealing a victory, 55-12, big victory for them. So probably one of these games is just a fill-in for maybe one of the teams that fell out of the league. Either way, it pumps up the home crowd. It's a big win for the Rougarou and the Spartans, as we'll see soon, as they get a nice win at home. Colorado Spartans, on the other hand, hosted the Las Vegas Kings, and they won their game 69-18. So big win for the Spartans as well. Obviously another big win for the home crowd. Really get everybody excited and happy. And both teams just keep on chugging along and get to work on some things. And just continue to get better and prepare for when they get back on the league side of games. Finally, the game of the week in my eyes. You had the Omaha Beef traveling to the team that's only played one game so far this season. In 6 weeks, they've had 3.5 weeks of no games. So really interesting to see how the Beaumont Renegades play against a really solid opponent in the Omaha Beef, the defending champions from last year, after not playing the game in so long. And it was a pretty solid game. I did tune in here and there, and I was able to catch definitely the latter half, the end of the game, and it was a solid matchup. The Renegades really did match up well against the Beef and really took it to them. It was very impressive for me as a fan watching the game, and I gotta give hats off to the Renegades. They really wanted that win, and it was a pretty stellar defense there in the final minutes to hold off the Beef as they got the win 36-31. Massive win for the Renegades. Man, talk about a absolute stunner. You have the Renegades, a expansion team, first 2 games they're ever played. One is against, both games are against the top 2 teams from the previous year. One was against the team that was a runner-up, and now you have the champion in Omaha Beef. Wow, can't really say much more than that. It's Renegades are the real deal. And it was a very impressive win. Gotta give it to them. So Omaha Beef coming on, taking this loss and they're definitely going to look to regroup and get ready for a big rivalry game next week. So, man, what are you not entertained? What storylines we have going for us here in the NAL? So, pretty awesome matchups, and that's a lot of fun. Really, just surprised with the Renegades. They are now officially the only undefeated team left in the NAL. So how's that for a stat for you, right? 2-0. And, well, for one, they've only played 2 games, and then both wins against some solid teams. So really excited to see what the Renegades have going forward. Big win, obviously. Let's get in some players of the week for week 6. On offense, you had QB Caleb Lowe for Idaho Horsemen, leading that offense there in the game and coming away with a big win in their game against the Carolina Cobras. And on defense, you had John Griggs with the Renegades putting on a stellar shutout performance there against the Omaha Beef. Really doing a solid job there on the D-line. And then for special teams, you have kicker Ryan Hibbets for the Renegades doing a fantastic job as well in that big win over the Beef. Alright, let's take a look at next week's games. We have a full slate of games, and every one of them look to be big, solid matchups this upcoming week. All the games are going to be massive implications for the standings and look to be all really entertaining games. First up, you have on Friday, April 18th, the Renegades are traveling to the Lions. Man, what a storyline it would be if the Renegades knock off the Lions. 3 of the top teams going into this season. 2 of them are champions from last year, and then one was a runner-up in the NAL last year. So, really big game coming up for the Renegades, and the Lions obviously want to knock off another, solid opponent and increase their chances of making the playoffs as well. So this should be a really massive matchup. It's the only one on Friday night. Really awesome matchup. I'm really curious to see how the Renegades do this time, not having such a long break as well. So should be an awesome matchup to say the least. Then we got a triple header on Saturday as the Carolina Cobras are traveling to the Wheeling Miners, and this is the rubber match to decide this season series between these 2 teams. So a lot on the line here. Got a lot of pride. It's going to be very big for the implications when it comes to the standings, and pretty sure the Miners are looking to knock off the Cobras and continue the success they have now established, getting that first win as we get closer and closer to deciding the playoff implications going into this season. Then you have a big rivalry. You might have heard of it. The Sioux City Bandits traveling to the Omaha Beef. Obviously, a rematch of the championship game last year in the NAL, and needs no introduction. Solid rivalry game. So throw everything out the books, all the standings, the records, throw it out the book, throw it out the window, because anything goes when it comes to a rivalry game, especially in indoor and arena football. So definitely want to check this one out. Should be an entertaining matchup to say the least, and have massive implications going forward. Then our final game to finish up the weekend, you have the Idaho Horsemen traveling to take on the Colorado Spartans. I see this as a little bit of a rivalry in its own. You have the top half of the national division with the Sioux City Bandits and the Omaha Beef, and then the bottom half. Usually this has been the case, but I see both these teams starting to come within their own and really soaring up the ladder, and the Spartans and the Horsemen. And I expect this to be a very massive matchup as well. A little bit of a rivalry matchup, like I was saying. I could see it as they're both the most farthest west teams in the league. And Idaho coming off that big win. Colorado, obviously, they're doing good for themselves as well. So look to see this one to be a very solid matchup as well. Now let's take a look at the standings in the American Division. Obviously, you have the Beaumont Renegades at 2-0, top of the table. Like I said before, the only left undefeated team in the league. So, massive surprise coming out of left field for them. Looking to see what they have going forward. Second place, you have the Columbus Lions. They're at 2-1. Just trucking along. Big matchup coming up with them and the Renegades. Then in third, you have the Carolina Cobras at 2-3. Really shocking to see them this early on with that record. I'm sure they're looking to turn it around and start rattling off some wins. Next up, you have the Rougarou with a 1-2 record. They're obviously looking to bounce back as well and start rattling off some wins. Then 5th in the standings, we have the Wheeling Miners, 1-3, looking to get off a little hot streak here after starting slow this year. If anybody's going to get turned around and get these boys going the right way, it's obviously Coach Rez. So I wouldn't put my money on anybody else when it comes to righting the ship with a team. Next up, in the National Division, which is completely wide open in my book at this point, you have the Beef still at the top with a 3-1 record, getting ready to host the Bandits. Big implications upcoming with this rivalry game. Second place obviously is the Bandits, a 2-1. A win against the Beef, that would give them a chance to hop over the Beef and lead that division. So big game for both teams going into this one. Third, you get the Colorado Spartans at 2-2. And the Idaho Horsemen at 2-2 as well. So winner of their game is going to obviously get into that 3 slot solely. So big win for either team would be massive. So, all right, everybody, that will do it for the Week 6 recap for the National Arena League. Last thing we need to talk about is there was an issue, if you might have noticed, with the NAL YouTube page. It is gone. I remember I was watching the Beef game and the Renegades game late. I think it was Sunday night, and I watched the end of it, went to bed, woke up the next day, and the channel was gone for the NAL. So don't know what happened. Totally in the dark. Crazy. I never thought I'd see the day, right, where the whole league's page just disappears. Obviously, the only thing I could think of was either somebody went and deleted it or some nefarious reasons or whatever. Or maybe there's just a violation or some strike against the page. But obviously, we didn't know exactly what was happening. The NAL did post an update on their Facebook and Twitter. And it was, as I'll throw it on the page here. They said, we are currently working with YouTube and Google to resolve the issue with our streaming channel. The issue is not related to copyright per some reports. We do appreciate your patience as we work through the process and hope to have everything resolved soon. So initially, a lot of people obviously assumed it was going to be a copyright issue because of the music being played in the background during these streams by the teams. So obviously, it's nothing new. You see all the time games being taken down, after they've gone live, and they're, just get taken down randomly, and then they'll be reposted. It's usually copyright issues with the music or something along those lines. But NAL's confirming here that is not the case. Something a little bit deeper than that, which is not good. Obviously, we don't want anything to happen to that channel. You have a backlog of many games, many years, all the way since the inception of the NAL. So really hope nothing terrible is on the docket here for the league. Get another update also, and this was released on the most recent episode of Inside the Walls podcast. You have an update. I'll throw it up here. National Arena League YouTube account was not suspended. The account was terminated by YouTube after an internal review by YouTube, even after our appeal was denied. So that's really not good. Absolutely terminated is not what you want to see. And that was even after a review. So I don't know what could have been the issue. Let's just continue here. This was not due to a copyright. We understand that this is the most common cause, but our violation was a community violation related that we are still pursuing now with Google support, the parent company of YouTube. The NAL is providing full footage and audio transcripts to provide their case against YouTube. This is not a minor suspension. This is a major infraction that won't be resolved overnight or over a phone call. So, yeah, this is not some small little thing. This is bad. So it's a really big issue. Hopefully it can be resolved soon, and it's not some serious issue that will hinder the channel from coming back. Because like I said, obviously that's got all the content there, and yeah, it's bad for the fact that you want to watch the old games. If it gets terminated, like legit terminated, I don't know if everybody knows this, but if your channel is terminated, it's gone. Like there is no getting it back, as far as I understand. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's from what I've learned and heard. So community guidelines strike, whatever. That's usually something really bad, and it's worrying that they said that they reviewed it and still upheld it. So really curious to see what in the world could have been done or caused this, but like I said, they're working on it. Hopefully they figure it out and it's something too serious. This is one of the big reasons I feel like the IFL went and created their own streaming service, channel, or app, whatever. This right here, it is so fragile posting on YouTube when it comes to these leagues because of so many different reasons. So a lot of people that were talking smack about the IFL and they want to pay it $30. Here's a prime example why. That you want to have stability and control and all that other good stuff. This is why the IFL did what they did. So yeah, sucks to see it. Hopefully it gets resolved soon, because this slate of games upcoming this weekend are all big games and primetime football for the NAL. So like I said, hopefully they resolve it soon and we don't have to miss none of the action. But alright everybody, that will do it for the video. Thank you for checking it out. Subscribe if you haven't already to follow along for more content. Like the video, please, as well. Shows me you appreciate this content. And I will see you guys in the next one.